You're listening to Real Estate for Real People, hosted by the Stone Sisters. The Stone Sisters have built an award-winning realty business, and they're here to share some of their knowledge with you. A new episode drops every Thursday. If you enjoy the show, please share it with a friend and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And visit www.stonesisters.com for more information just like this.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another great episode of Real Estate for Real People. We've got a fabulous guest joining us today, good friend of ours and well-respected realtor from the Lower Mainland, Pam Allen.
Hi. So at least you didn't say how old I am. How
You
long
are
I've been in the
young.
business.
I know. People ask me, how long have you been doing this? And I think back to when I started in real estate and I was very proud. And I'm like, this is my second year. And now people are like, how long have you been doing this? I'm like, a long time.
Yeah. That's
And I
mine
move
now,
along
too.
quickly.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I'm a prairie girl. I grew up in Regina, Saskatchewan, and I practiced real estate there for 21 years. And at that point, I had decided that probably 40 below weather wasn't going to be in my future.
Yes.
So I decided to move to Vancouver. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
21 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, and you do
Yeah.
exceptionally well. Pam has won all kinds of awards and really an extremely well-respected realtor. So we wanted to bring you on today to share some of, you know, what you see in the market, what prices are like, if there are any opportunities, just what it's like
Yeah.
to move there. Because I think a lot of people, you know, we have a lot of people who are moving to Kelowna from Vancouver, but we've also got people, you know, some young people or some people who want maybe more excitement who are going to leave Kelowna and go down towards you.
Especially as the market shifts a little bit, I think we will start to see some people going back to Vancouver potentially, right?
Well, they may not go back to Vancouver proper.
Yes.
Because, I mean, really, it is to the point now where even renting is so ridiculously high. I mean, if you wanted to rent just a one bedroom in a decent building, you're going to be looking at between $1,500 and $2,000 a month.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that doesn't include any of your utilities or anything. That's just basic rent.
And that would be right in Vancouver
That
proper?
would be right in Vancouver.
Okay.
So when you look at Vancouver, you've got the downtown, which is kind of an island, and then you've got West and North Vancouver, and then
Right.
you've got the West Side. So you've got the three bridges. You've got
Right.
Cambie, and then Granville, and then Burrard. So Burrard is really your basic entry into downtown.
Yes.
Cambie is what you would take if you were going into sort of Gastown and Yaletown, that area.
Okay.
And then Granville will take you right down into downtown, and then up to Whistler. Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's nice to have that explanation. I've
Yeah.
been to Vancouver many times. I've come and stayed with you many times. I love that. But it's nice, you know, I don't really have that great an understanding of the boundaries.
Right.
No, I don't either.
Well, and so many people are confused because they say, well, we'd like to be in West Vancouver. They, oh, you want to cross the bridge? Oh, no. We
Yes.
want to be on West
Yes.
Vancouver. Well, that is the North Shore.
Right.
So West Side, West End is the downtown where most of the seniors. West End is the oldest suburb in Vancouver.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And so it goes West End and then English Bay, you know, where the
Yes.
Sylvia Hotel is.
I love
and
that.
then it becomes sort of downtown and then Yaletown. And Yaletown is an industrial area. It used to be, it's on Falls Creek, and
Right.
it used to be all warehouses. And now they've magically made it into
A
a
nice
real
area.
hip area.
Yeah. Well, when I go down to Vancouver and it's a sunny day, which I'm really lucky, I often get or usually get.
Yes, you do.
Every time I go for a run along the seawall or downtown or through Falls Creek, I'm like, I could live here. How much would it cost, Pam, for just a one bedroom sort of, apartment, a little getaway place?
Well, depending on where you want to be. If you want to be downtown, a one bedroom is going to cost you probably around $1 million.
Wow.
Wow.
A one bedroom.
A one bedroom, yeah.
And what are the maintenance fees like?
Again,
I know they vary.
Again, in Yaletown, you're probably looking at about $500 to $600.
Wow.
On the west side, I live in a two-story, 2+ den townhouse, and my maintenance fees are $750 a month.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if
Holy.
you get a little bit for more east, Mount Pleasant, Main area, you would be looking still around $500 a month for a maintenance
And have
fee.
you seen a shift in the market? I mean, we're starting to see things change here. More inventory coming on the market. Have you seen that?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, we're the housing market. Well, I brought you some stats here for a West Vancouver West, which is the
Yes.
west side.
Yeah.
So right now, there's 707 listings that are active.
Okay.
Last year, there was 751.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So you actually have less for sale right now.
That's right.
Interesting.
Last year, it took 21 days to sell. This year, it's taking 26. So you've got less inventory, but it's taking longer to sell.
Right, but not
But
much.
5
But
days
not
longer.
5 days. I mean, that's, yeah.
Wow.
And last year, the average price was $4,157,000.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's this year. Last year, it was $4,069,000.
Wow. So
Wow.
really not much change at all.
Not really.
No.
And the average price is $4 million.
Yeah, that's for a house.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
for a house.
Interesting, because people talk so much about the lack of affordability and how expensive it is, and coming from Kelowna, listening to those average prices, it's shocking. And yet you go to another big international beautiful city, go to Singapore, go to Paris, go to London. That seems like a bargain.
Oh, that is a bargain. I mean, I have people coming from South Africa and Australia, and they're just shocked at how little our real estate is. I'm going, oh, okay, okay, if you say
Wow,
so.
really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so where are most of your buyers coming from, would you say?
You know what? It really depends on the year. Like during COVID, there wasn't much international.
No.
Right.
Inventory was low. I mean, they would be looking at what they could buy, and there wasn't much. So a lot of them rented.
Right.
And so now we're going to be seeing a lot of those renting people coming back into the market.
Right.
But if you wanted to have a condo, last year, 1,693 houses. This year, sorry, I've got that mixed up again.
Don't worry.
This year, 1,693 active listings. Last year, 1,863.
wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So our average price this year is
For the
$1,102,000.
average condo, 1.1 million.
That's right.
Wow.
And last year it was just $1 million. I mean, just $1 million.
Yeah.
But we're talking like Vancouver West.
Right.
So if you go a little bit east, if you go Vancouver East, you're looking at a condo. This year is $873,000.
Okay.
Okay.
And last year it was 773. So as you
you get further away.
I mean, still in Vancouver, you can still get something, for 700,
Right.
800,000.
But you have to have a car. Like something I really like
Yes.
about where you are.
Well, you've got the Canada line, you've got
true.
this new West Coast, and then you've got
Yes.
the transit.
Yes.
What do we call that?
Like your SkyTrain.
SkyTrain. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Duh. So, that does take a lot. I mean, really, you could be in Surrey or Coquitlam and take the SkyTrain in. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
And then you get rid of all traffic concerns.
That's right.
You've got a bit of a commute, but it's an enjoyable commute. 'cause you
Exactly.
can listen to a podcast
and right
like
now,
Stone
there's
Sisters or
Just a little plug in there.
yeah, a little plug.
every chance I get.
Yes. Well, you notice I mentioned 3 bridges.
Yes.
Yes.
The bridge to real estate in Vancouver. That would be me.
Yes, I know. I love that. So good.
So we have a new construction going on in Vancouver right now. It's the Broadway line. So it's going to connect. Well, it's supposed to eventually get to UBC. Right now they have a bus called the 99, and it
Yes.
takes all the students out to UBC.
Right.
The city council, in its wisdom, is stopping the line at Arbutus.
Oh.
So very confusing, and why? And I asked the city planner, I said, so what are they going to do when they get off at Arbutus? Oh, well, we'll have buses waiting.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Hundreds of students getting off the Broadway line,
Yes.
going up and getting on buses. It's so, in my mind, it's a waste of money because they're eventually going to have to to extend that line right out to
Absolutely.
UBC.
Might as well do it all at once.
Exactly.
It's tough though. You know, I'm sympathetic, and actually it would be a great future podcast would be to have a city planner come and talk, because I think it's tricky. My understanding is whether it's with school districts or public transit or what have you, they have to base it upon the need today.
Yes.
They can't speculate and look ahead and say, well, we know in 3 years, which is probably 1 year, there will be enough people to warrant it now, and they get the funding based on today.
Well, they're already. I mean, if you're driving between 8 and 10, those buses are absolutely packed.
Wow.
Absolutely packed with students. Yeah. So the need is definitely there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why they're surrendering some of the UBC endowment land to condos, because they want people to live on site.
Right.
Because
It makes sense.
The transportation is just so difficult. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that does make
growing
sense.
pains as the city grows.
Big
What's
growing
the
pains.
population of Vancouver, Pam? Do
It's
you know?
Well, Greater Vancouver, it's about 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas like Calgary, for example, is maybe 1.5
I
million
think it's
now,
about
maybe
one
not
and a half.
quite.
Yeah, I think so.
And then
Somewhere in that way.
Toronto is
Toronto is
12 million? Is it that high?
10 or 12,
Yeah, I think
something
so.
like that.
10,
I had an interesting stat for Toronto. Yeah, Vancouver versus Toronto.
Yeah.
A family of 4 estimated monthly costs are $4,636 without rent.
Wow.
And a single person estimated monthly costs are $1,256 without rent.
Without rent.
So that's like clothing, groceries,
gas.
all
cell
of
phone.
those things without rent. That's,
So that's, I'm sorry, Pam. So that
okay.
was 4,000 in Toronto, 1,200 in Vancouver?
no, that was for a family of 4
Okay.
and a single person. So
Got you,
Vancouver
got
is
you.
0.41% more expensive than Toronto. And that's without rent.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. But then when you throw, because I believe our rents and our housing is more expensive in Vancouver. It's the most expensive in the country, right?
Vancouver. Yes, Vancouver rent is on average about 8.17% higher than Toronto.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
I am just a fund of information.
You are.
yeah?
I'm like, Pam, this is amazing.
It's interesting when you say, you've got clients moving from South Africa or from Australia or what have you. We in Kelowna really don't see a lot of that.
You don't see the international.
No,
Yeah.
and over all the years we've been doing this, we've had a few that have come, but it's primarily, within Kelowna, within Central Okanagan, Vancouver, Alberta, and Ontario over the last couple of years.
Well, I think it's
Manitoba.
probably because, number one is in an international airport. I mean,
Yes.
to get anywhere from Kelowna, you'd have to go to Vancouver to fly.
That's right.
So, I mean, anybody who's in business, I think that would be a key factor for determining where they wanted to live.
You can go to Cancun direct from here.
Only part of the year, right?
True.
That's true. That's true. So it's so interesting that you have so many international buyers that are coming there. Just as you said, because we don't have that here. And it's just a market avenue that we don't go after, or we don't see here at all. So,
But Vancouver is far more multicultural than
goodness.
Kelowna is.
and no wonder
absolutely.
because you're attracting everyone with that
That's right.
international airport.
Well, they say that Vancouver is a destination now.
Yes.
You know, it used to be just a
Absolutely.
place that they would go and visit. But I mean, even I have a friend who's just moving back from Hong Kong, and she said that she estimates that probably there's going to be about 300
Yes.
expats that are going to be coming back to and it'll probably be Vancouver or Toronto.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those the Pacific Rim people tend to stay
Yes.
in the Vancouver area
Yes.
because it's so easy to get back to their home.
Yes.
Right.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really does.
And I think because of the number of international students who are going to UBC, going to Simon Fraser or BCIT, that also is a big draw,
Absolutely.
for families. I mean, usually a family will move into Vancouver, and then maybe one parent will go home and continue working.
Yes.
And so the mom or the dad will stay in Vancouver and let the kids go to school.
Yeah.
Private schools are very popular in Vancouver.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got a great number of them.
We
don't
do.
you? With,
We
with
do.
world-class education.
Absolutely. St. George is probably number 1 or number 2 for boys.
Wow.
In Canada.
Wow.
And I think York House or Mulgrave, I think they're up in at least in the top 5. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't realize that. And so looking forward, what do you predict for the Vancouver market?
It's just going to stay the same. I mean, I don't think that we'll have that leap that we had over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
Because as everyone is saying, it's not sustainable.
Right.
Yes.
But I don't think we're in a bubble, because if we were, then there would be more supply. You
Right.
know?
That's right.
It's all supply and demand.
It is
And there's
supply and demand.
I know the last time I was in Vancouver, which is quite a while ago, but there were a few new projects that were under construction. Are you still seeing that? Is the
We're
skyline
seeing
littered
them,
with cranes or
not so much downtown? The perimeters, yes. We've got a lot on the west side. There's a lot of 4, 5, 6, 10 stories proposed.
Yes.
But we have a lot, I know in the Fairview, Kitsilano area, that's probably the most established for condos.
Yes.
Multifamily. There's a lot of planning that's going ahead because the Broadway corridor, once
Right.
that transit gets built
Right.
and finished,
Makes
there's
it that
going to be a
much closer.
lot of new condos. I mean,
Yes.
you'll drive down Broadway Avenue now, and you'll see empty lots with proposed.
Wow.
You know, so I think that is going to be a real boon for renters as well as for people who want to get into the market.
Now let's talk about the big elephant in the room we haven't talked about, the rain.
The rain. Well, you know,
and does Vancouver, it's got a reputation for raining almost every day.
know,
And
it
yet I
does
go and
not.
visit you and I don't see that.
honestly, I can honestly say, cross my heart, when I moved there 21 years ago, it did rain a lot.
Yeah.
But now I don't see the rain as much. You know, if it rains, it'll rain for maybe a week, and then it'll be sunshine for, maybe 3-4 weeks. I mean, we live in a rainforest, for heaven's sake.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, I mean, we have to
Well, and
have
it's
rain.
part of what makes Vancouver so incredibly
So green.
beautiful.
So true.
It's
That's right.
green and lush and clean,
Right.
particularly for a city that size.
That's right. And I didn't look at the stats for the rain for last year,
Yeah.
but honestly,
Well,
we
climate
had-
change. It's
we didn't. We had a summer where we had hardly any rain. First summer, maybe second summer that I can actually say that I saw brown lawns.
wow.
And we had
Wow.
water restrictions
That's right.
so I mean that's really unheard of in Vancouver.
That's true.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Every time I'm there, because my in-laws live in Vancouver, and every
Oh,
time
that's
I'm
right,
there,
yes.
it's sunny as well. Like
Yeah.
we rarely have rain.
Yeah.
Not like we've had rain here the last little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't. We had last week. We had some rain, but it rains at night, and then the morning is kind of drizzly, and then by afternoon it's sunny.
Wow.
Wow.
Which is magical.
Yeah,
And
it is.
do you guys get snow? Does Vancouver have snow? Did you have any this winter?
No.
Nice.
Winter before. Oh, wait a minute. No, we did have one. We did have one snow
yeah.
dump, but other than that, no.
That's nice.
I would say maybe every 3 years we get snow, and I live on a hill. As you know,
Yes.
Alders. So once the snow comes on my street, I don't get out.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if my car's in the garage, I'm on a slope, and then they barricade it off. So,
Wow.
Oh, wow.
oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, they
because
take
I
it
mean,
because you just
really,
don't get it. It's,
Okay.
You just wouldn't get up the hill.
But the
Yeah.
beauty of where you live is, and again, when I've come to visit you, I can park the car and walk everywhere. Walk
That's
for
right.
dinner, walk for shopping.
And most people that move to that area, do they have one car? Do most people move there with wanting to just walk everywhere, or
Pretty much, yeah. Fairview is I have to say it's kind of a little secret still. Maybe not now, but it really is very walkable. The walk score for Fairview is about 95.
Wow.
wow?
So
Okay.
I mean, from where I live, as Tamara has said, I can walk to Broadway. I can walk to 4th Avenue in about 10 minutes. I can walk to Granville Island in about 10 minutes.
Oh, that's
I can
amazing.
walk. I would cross the Granville Bridge, so that would take me about 20 minutes to get to Yaletown.
Wow.
Yeah.
While walking.
Pretty
Yes,
incredible.
walking.
Yeah. And yet to find a property in Fairview where you live, there aren't any houses there. It's all multifamily, right?
Pretty much multifamily. There's a few single families, but not very many. A lot of townhouses, more so than apartments. The average for a townhouse right now would be about 1.5 for a two to three bedroom.
Right.
Yeah. The one next door to me just sold, and it sold for 1.8.
Wow.
Yeah. And they had multiple offers. Yeah.
Because you deal with in that area, majority I would say are strata or multifamily units that you sell just because that's probably more of the supply that's there. Are you seeing any trends as far, just because you're the big city, we're little town folk right here in Kelowna. So
I was surprised when I was landing though. It's stretching.
It is. It's getting bigger.
It's really growing here.
Flew in the last time. I was surprised. There's a lot of development.
There is. We're having a lot of development, but yeah. So it's always interesting to get the big city perspective to see if there's any different trends you're seeing in construction or buyers looking for certain things. Or
that's a good question, Shannon. The one thing that shocked me is that they're talking about building apartment buildings out of wood rather than concrete.
Oh, and
really?
Over 6-story or
over 6?
Really?
Yeah, up to 11 stories. Yeah, I was talking to an architect, and he says, "You know what? The wood that they're using is as strong or even stronger," and I kind of doubt that, than concrete. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Wow. Because I haven't heard of that here in Kelowna. I think, wood frame is typically what's used if it's under 6 stories. And then over 6, it's mandatory that it's concrete or steel.
Right. And that's what it used to be in Vancouver as well.
Interesting.
But, availability of supplies, maybe.
Well, and I was surprised because I thought that the wood shortage, was so maybe it's not actual wood. It might be a composite of some type.
Right.
But it's not going to be concrete. Yeah.
Huh. That's really interesting.
Wow. And bidding wars are happening or not
so much anymore.
Okay.
There's a few here and there depending on the price.
Property price.
But since the rise in the interest rates, I have definitely had a lot of my first-time buyers saying, "Well, we're just going to wait a few months and see how things go, and maybe they'll level out."
Yeah.
But if we have as little on the market as we have now, I don't see that the prices are going to. But I think a lot of buyers are saying, "Look, I can't get into a bidding war when there's 15, 20 other offers." I mean, it's crazy. And I myself, I advise my buyers, don't even go there. Yeah. Wait until we find something a little bit less competitive.
Yeah.
It may be not quite your dream house, but a lot of young buyers, they want to start out where their mom and dad ended off.
So
it's
true.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I think it's different than it was, even when I entered the property market decades ago. But we were happy to just get your foot in the door and get a little tiny house. Yep. And your first place was a condo.
Yeah.
And it, that is different. People come to us and some of them, we've had a number of people come from Vancouver and their first home, and they're, it's an estate property with horse paddocks and a view and a pool, and it's $2.6 million. I'm thinking, that's your first house.
Yeah. Well, and in Vancouver, people they're spending a fortune as a first-time home buyer.
Oh yeah. Well, they're not buying homes.
No, I guess they're buying the condos.
Not in Vancouver. Yeah. They can go to Coquitlam or Port Moody, and they can still get a house.
And how long a commute is that, Pam? If I came and
Coquitlam would be, I would say about 30 minutes.
Okay,
that's not terrible.
That's not bad.
Well, with no traffic.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Port Moody I would say 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And
with no traffic.
With no traffic. Yeah. Abbotsford.
That's the hard part.
I went to Abbotsford to pick up a girlfriend from the airport, and it took me 45 minutes to get there. It took me an hour and 27 minutes to get home.
Wow.
Because the traffic. Literally, the number one highway was stopped.
Wow.
The cars were not moving.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a situation where they have to do something about the traffic, because it really is.
Well, and when you look at the studies, the reports that are coming out around the world, and certainly post-COVID, they're saying, okay, well, where do people want to live? And a lot of people are choosing to be in the big centers. There was great appeal, and a lot of people, I mean, Kelowna's not small. We've got a substantial population.
Yes.
But I think some people who moved to the really small communities that are 2 hours away from here even are saying, no, I'm going to go back to the city, go back to where there's a little more vitality, go back to where my employers want me to be, in the office. And it's just interesting.
I do see some of that as well. A lot of offices are opening up, and people are returning back to the downtown.
Yeah.
So I see a little bit more traffic downtown than I did see during COVID.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it was really nice to drive around.
I was just going to say, it must have been
It
great.
was really a pleasure. Now you can sit on Burrard or Georgia for a long time.
Well, it was something I read this weekend that Tesla put out, that everybody, if you are employed, you are expected to be in the office 40 hours a week. And if you're not there, they assume you've retired. Yeah. And I don't know if it was rather a harsh wording, but I looked and thought, okay. And I've chatted with a few of our friends or clients who have big companies, and they are back in person. Yep. The remote learning, which we've loved, a version of a hybrid, and hope that is sustainable. But I think some of the companies are saying, no, you're back. You're
well,
you're
it
in
had
the
now
office.
enough time to test it to see, okay, can you still be as productive? And in some cases, maybe you just can't. So.
Well, and I also, the other influence in Vancouver is the movie industry. We're starting to see a lot more movies being made, so a lot more trailers around, and you know that they're filming. Yeah.
Yes.
My daughter was just working on a reality show. She was one of the crew, and they just wrapped last Friday for season 1, and they'll be back in September for season 2.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good economically for people. They're staying in hotels. They're buying groceries. They're going out for dinners. Then I think it has another effect where people are watching the movies or the reality shows, going, "Well, that's Vancouver. It is stunning. I want to live there." And because we're getting quite a few movies here in the Okanagan, and I think the same thing is happening.
Oh, good. Well, when you have Ryan Reynolds tooting your horn,
That's true. We don't need more than that.
No, we don't.
Thank you so much.
That was really
my
interesting.
Pleasure.
So,
been my pleasure.
How can people find you, Pam? So,
Pam Allen at pallen.com is my email.
Perfect.
And housesinvancouver.com is my website.
Housesinvancouver.com. Amazing.
We'll link that below for those who are listening or watching. We'll make sure that's
That would
on
be
there.
great.
Any questions about the Vancouver market, you can phone Pam. And
you bet.
Everything else, phone us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Real Estate for Real People. If you want to reach out to the Stone Sisters, visit www.stonesisters.com. This podcast was produced by Podigy Podcasts. See you next time.